Hello, everyone, and welcome to another VanHack Success Case video. My name is Ilya, and today I'm really excited to be joined by Salis, who is a front-end developer that just got hired in Berlin, Germany. Hey, Salis, how are you?
Hi, Ilya. How are you? I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm really happy for you and excited to share your story. So let's dive into it.
Thanks.
Who are you? Where are you from? What's your professional background?
Okay, so my name is Salis Brima. I'm a web developer. I've been working on web projects and on the web for professionally for the past 3 years. I started out as a front-end developer at a small startup here in Ghana. I worked there for 6 months, and then I moved to Tex Ghana, where I was more of a general programmer. I worked with PHP and JavaScript, and from there I moved to IT Consortium, where I worked also as a more general purpose programmer, full stack, front end and back end. But I've always, had more of a knack for front end than back end. So I've been really looking at for a chance to, you know, um, um, kind of specialize. Yeah, that's the word. Specialize my skills in front end. Yeah.
Cool. So now you work with React.js. What
Yeah.
other frameworks do you work with? How do you connect?
Yeah. So I have experience with React.js. I've done a bit of Angular 1. I've played with Vue.js a little bit, and I also do a lot of vanilla JavaScript too at times. And I play with Node.js because on the front end you do a lot of tooling and you touch a lot of Node.js. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. So sounds like you have a really great background. And how about the job search? So where did the motivation for relocating come from? How was the job search before VanHack, and how was it afterwards once you joined?
Yeah. So before I joined VanHack, I kind of felt like the tech community in Ghana is very young, right? And there are lots of great people here, but we're all kind of like, most of us are still in kind of the learning phase, right? So my motive for relocation, was probably to join maybe a bigger corporation with more developers, right? And maybe to gain a new perspective on programming in general, And when you have like a larger community that's like immediately around you, not like over the internet or the web, I think it just helps boost your career development. So that was probably one of my biggest drivers for looking to move. So I started applying to jobs in places with I know have very vibrant tech communities, like the tech community in Berlin, in Germany, and in Berlin in particular, because of all the startups. And I think there are lots of startups in Canada right now, and in the US too. So North America and Germany, Holland, So I applied for a few, but I kept getting bounced back. Like I always got these, these emails saying, "Oh, we're sorry," but they didn't really cite location as the problem. But I kind of felt like that was the one thing that was holding me back, because they're looking at your resume, like, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there. I had a GitHub profile, which I think is pretty good. But these people, I think they're still skeptical about the distance, because they have to invest in bringing you over, and then what happens if they put all that time into you and you're not what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think you joined one of the groups, the dev groups I'm in Ghana.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was our first, I think that was our first encounter. You posted about lots of remote and jobs that offer relocation. You talked a lot about VanHack, and I was like, I think I DM'd you. Yes, I private messaged you, and we had a bit of a chat, and then I was really pumped, and I signed up, and well, I guess the rest is history. But is it history I should share?
Yeah. So just quickly, how was your experience with VanHack?
I mean, it was amazing. I couldn't believe just how much I was getting for free, because I joined on the free plan,
Mhm.
and I couldn't believe all the resources and all the help. So, first when I joined, I was wondering if maybe you guys thought I had signed up as premium, and you were because like everyone was super responsive. I send messages out and I get replies, and people are like, "Oh, take a look at this." And once I went through the verification process and I had all my skill sets, I was like frequently getting emails about, take a look at this job here, or take a look at this job here. We think this fits your profile. And I mean, to the point where I thought it was, I thought it was spam at some at some
Too many
point. But
jobs.
that's just how much activity I was getting, And for me, I thought it was totally awesome. So I mean, everyone was super responsive. I couldn't believe just how helpful everyone was, and I send messages, I get responses like almost immediately, and I mean, it was amazing. And then I kept getting mails, and almost like every day I'll get like 2-3 emails on jobs that were like good profile, like good fits, or like good profile matches. And most of the time they were pretty good jobs, And I think the matching was pretty good. Yeah. So onto the process. I applied for some of them, obviously. There are some, I did have a few rejections, and, there were a couple of companies, after you pass through, it's still an interview process. You're not going to pass through every single interview you have. And, sometimes after passing the initial stages, maybe you check out the company and maybe you might not want to go further. For me, it was pretty much, I think it was an excellent match, because I think Zalando was probably my second company I got, and I checked them out, and they were, from their tech team and how they value tech and how much focus they have on engineering. It was an excellent fit. So from that moment, I knew this was a process I wanted to take seriously. And that was quick. That was like my second week. I was matched with Zalando, second week after verification. So I had a lot of, that was after I'd applied and, done the initial first steps. So, I think that was super quick.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And how was the actual interview process with them? You had the first interview, second interview. What was the interview process, and how was the mock interviews as well with our team?
Yeah. So, for the initial online coding test, that's what Zalando do first. You have an initial coding test, and I think they show their quality there. It's a codility test, but it's a custom codility test. So it's questions that they have put together, and not questions that you'll find on codility. So that's that made it kind of a bit of a challenge. Thankfully for me, I was really well prepared. I mean, for VanHack verification also has similar coding tests. So, I'd already practiced before I took those tests. So that was still fresh, and yeah, that helped. For the HR interview, I mean, I had a session with you, and I had a session with Julia from VanHack. Awesome, two awesome preps. Um, I went over my some common questions, and you guys really managed to coach the way I placed my answer. I gave my answers, and how I delivered and connected my answers to the roles. And I think that was very good for me. I mean, you opened my eyes to what my answers were really portraying. And I think for the HR interview, that really helped me sail through it. I don't know if it was cheating, but I think it was. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, I think it was the most relaxed HR interview I'd ever had, because I kind of knew how I wanted to frame my answers, and it's not like I was saying anything that was false. I was just choosing my words and my delivery a lot better.
Yeah.
And all this, still for free. So yeah.
Very cool. And then how about that technical interview preparation as well?
Yeah, so after the HR interview, Zalando, they have 3 back-to-back interviews, an hour each, with different engineers from their team. And I had done a bit of preparation, but then you reached out, and you offered a technical mentor from someone who had already interviewed with Zalando, and he gave me a lot of insight. And then I think then we had the technical interview, the mock setup with Gallo, who was another awesome guy. I mean, I had the interview with. I thought I was prepared, but after my mock with Gallo, I really realized there was a lot that I could I could improve and brush up on before the real interview. And this was, I mean, I think Gallo's session was probably really pivotal, because he was more of he was telling me more about what he would be looking out for, like basic skills for Frontend. I mean, that's cool. But then architecturally, how do you differentiate yourself? How's your design and thought process when building applications? So, he kind of shifted my attention to that part. It was something I'd ignored for some time. And when I took a look at that, I brushed up on that. I studied concepts. I got the right terminologies. I think I was good. And for the technical interview, the first and the third part, the first interview and the last interview, were pretty much general front-end stuff and coding. But for the second part, that's where my mock interview really saved me, because it was a more architectural session. It was kind of like they just throw you a question about how you build a system, and right there, what the person is expecting is terminology, your knowledge of how to combine parts of a system, your knowledge of architecture, and I think that would have been disastrous if I hadn't had the mock with Gallo. Yeah.
Very cool. That's great to hear. And so what advice do you have for other people who are maybe dreaming of relocating or getting a remote job, but just don't know where to start, or someone who just joined VanHack, what would you say to that person?
So first, if you're not on VanHack and you're just watching this somewhere, please join VanHack if you're really serious about relocating. Second thing, just really know your craft and know what your strengths are, and apply for jobs that really do suit your skill set. One of the last things, another thing is, honesty. I believe you should really be honest in interviews. I think in my technical interview, I was asked some questions where I didn't really have the answers. And I was honest enough to tell them, I don't really have an answer for this question. And I think that moves the sessions along much quicker. They move on to other stuff, instead of trying to fumble your way through an answer. And I think it gives them a feel of the kind of person you are. Are you gonna take ownership? Are you going to just come out and tell the truth about stuff? I think that's one thing that you really need to put across to people that you're going to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be relied upon to tell the truth when it's crunch time? Or when you need to set a deadline for a project, will you say, okay, I don't know this thing, so then I don't think I can finish in 2 days. Maybe I'll need an extra day for research,
Right.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things, after the interview, I discussed that with you, that I didn't think I didn't really know how I had done. And that was because at some points I just said, I honestly don't know. But I think that was a positive for me. And I think people should try to be more honest in their interviews. Then last thing, just work on your GitHub profile, work on stuff. If you have ideas, things you want to build, just build them. Every engineer from Zalando asked me if I had a GitHub profile. Each of them opened my GitHub profile during the session, and they asked me a few questions about some of the stuff I worked on. And it's good to be able to take the conversation to, things that you've actually worked on. Then, even if you're not doing too well in the interview, they can see what you've done, you can see what your work is like, and they'll be like, okay, maybe he's just nervous, because he's done some really good stuff here. So then having a GitHub profile and being active on GitHub, I think that's a very something very good to be doing.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I actually saw a VanHacker who took a screenshot of their GitHub commit history, the bar that they have at the bottom.
Yeah.
He put that on his resume, and I thought that was so smart. So I totally agree with you on that, Salis. Nice. Cool. Well, thanks so much for sharing your experience. Congratulations on the job, the new city, new country, new continent. Get ready for the winter. It'll be a little bit colder in Berlin.
Exciting times.
Yeah. And
I bought 5 jackets.
You bought 5 jackets already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Actually, I think we should make a deal with a winter clothing outlet, because there's all the VanHackers always talking about this, especially now where it's summer in some of their countries and they're going to the winter in North America and Europe. So yeah, we'll get a group of VanHack jackets or toques.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Salis, thanks so much for sharing this. I know you're the first VanHacker from Ghana to get hired. I hope hopefully many others from Ghana, from around the world as well. And I'll see you in Berlin.
Yeah. All right, Ilya, thanks for your time.
Cool.
Thank you.
If you're watching this, you like what you saw, or you want to learn more, just subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the links below to sign up to VanHack for free and get an awesome job abroad quickly. Cool. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.